Hello, in this video I'm going to take the 3D decoupage a little bit further than my previous video. So in the previous video I touched on shaping, and I'm just going to show you a little bit more in depth as to how I approach shaping. Now I've made this easel card for my dad for Father's Day, so if I just tip it up you can see the design. And I just wanted to cover a couple of hints and tips that I've done on this. Now this easel card, let me just move that out of the way. So I got the sizing, or the rough sizing, from the adorable schoolboard crafting book, which has a host of different sizes. So this is the size, well, this is the size that they've said, but I wanted mine a little bit smaller because my topper was smaller. So I did mine 5 by 5, but it gives you all the dimensions and where to fold. So personally, this is a valuable piece of equipment to have in your craft box. So that's that. The other thing that I did was I found the topper in the Manly Moments decoupage book. Now it is not die cut. You will need to cut out the designs yourself, but it's got a load of designs, and let me just see, it has 72 pages of masculine themed decoupage, makes 48 fully layered decoupage toppers, 16 different decoupage designs, 3 of each. So that's an amazing amount of cards you're going to get. The problem with Father's Day is that I've covered football, cricket, everything else, and I was really struggling for a design, and I found this design, which is perfect because my dad's a published author, so that would fit in perfectly. But I just wanted to cover a couple of the shapes. Now, in my previous video, I said that I cut away some of the excess paper, but when you start getting to the small and fiddly bits, it's much easier if you don't, because as the pieces get smaller it's harder and harder to hold on to the pieces of paper. So that's for the first tip. The other tip I've got, now paper is the worst thing to cut and will dull your blades like nobody's business. So these are my replacement blades, which are new, and I also have a little tub which I've labelled used so that I can put my used ones in, and then when I've got enough I can then dispose of them. But that's just a handy hint that I have. So these are the pieces that I'm going to show you how to shape. The first thing that I did was used my, I've got a prism brush marker. Now in the previous video I touched on doing this, but this is my new favorite color. Because they were old books, I thought I needed an old color to make them look a bit old and musty. So this is my brush marker, and all I'm going to do is just run it across the top here. Now I'm going quite quickly, but you can take your time. The beauty with this brush marker, and it happened a few times on my finished card, but you won't notice it, is that I did happen to go over the actual design a bit more than I should have done. But because these are old books, it doesn't notice, because obviously this colour is already in the design. So that's that one, and you can just see, if I show you, I don't know if you can see, but it just makes it look a little bit older and weathered. That's the word you're looking for, weathered. So I've gone round, let me show you, I've gone round all of my decoupage layers, and I've also taken it into the card as well, so you've got that sort of brown weathered look on the edges of the card, which then gets rid of a lot of the white. I did leave this little area of white because that's where I'm going to write my greeting, but it just adds it just seems to take away the starkness of the white, and it just adds a little bit of something else that makes it all blend in together. So you're making your card come together. Now these pieces here, I'm not going to bother with colouring this one, but I want to show you, move on to the shaping. Now let's start with the book. So looking at my book, the first thing I notice is that I've got this spine of the book and then the pages here. So the first thing I'm going to do is shape this spine. Now a lot of old books are rounded. They're not all flat spines, especially when they get to this sort of thickness of book. So I'm just going to roll my spine of my book so it looks like it's that big heavy tome. That's the word I'm looking for. The other thing that we have here is this end here, which is going off. Books aren't flat, they're square and they're cube sort of shape. So I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm just going to bend this round slightly. And already you can see here, look, I'm hoping you can see, it now starts looking book shape. So it's not just a flat piece, it's actually become the shape of a book. Now what will happen, and you're not going to actually appreciate this because obviously I've got my lights on, but it will create a shadow which will make it look book shaped. So that's the sort of effect you're looking for. So what you have to do is when you look at a piece, imagine what shape it is in real life. So, and you then need to then try and recreate that shape. Now when I put this on in silicone with silicone glue or foam pads, I want this end here to be touching the previous layer, because then it looks like the book is sitting. Let me see if I can show you. Can you see here, look, this end is sitting on the previous layer, and it creates that effect of making the book, that end of the book look closer, further away, and the other end look closer to you. So you're looking for that angling and shaping. Hoping that makes sense. So then with our feather, I'm just going to, so again, our inkwell, it's not flat, it's circular, or it's definitely, it's a vessel. So most vessels are round. So I'm just going to turn that roundish. So now we've got a round glass jar, which is full of our ink. And then I'm just going to run my tool up my feather to make it curl. Now I know not all feathers are curled, but I think that makes a really nice effect. And again, I'm going to make sure this bit here sits nearer the top level, so it gives the effect of a curled feather. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it up a little bit here, because obviously it now makes it look as if it's sitting in the ink well. So that's the shape you're looking at. Now these pieces aren't behaving. The inkwell actually has another piece on top of it, but you can see here, you can see the curl of this feather. I haven't bothered doing that on the previous layers because you can't see them. They're just there to layer it up and make sure that it stands up a bit taller than the other pieces. But on this final piece, you can see it curls round. There's the dip, so it looks like it's coming from the inkwell. And then the inkwell, when I've rolled that, I've rolled it so that these ends here sit closer. So it actually appears as if the feather, the quill, is sitting in the inkwell. So hopefully that will give you an idea as to how you can shape them. The other thing I wanted to just quickly show you, because this has become my new best friend, is this this tape here. Now it's a really strong tape, and it's really hard to get the backing off of it. So I just wanted to show you, all I'm going to do is I've stuck it down, given it a good press, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to flick the knife underneath and hopefully it will work. Oh, there we are. Now if it doesn't, press it down and then try another corner, and always make sure you in the ideal world you flick away from you. So as you can see, by flicking it's created my end, and there's my piece that I can pull off, and then you can just pop it onto your card. So that's that tip. And the final tip, there's a lot in this one. Now I am horrendous at putting anything on straight. Anything at all has to go at a jaunty angle, because trying to line it up, you then take it off, you line it up again, take it off. So this is one of the ways I just don't even attempt doing straight anymore, because especially with peel-offs, it's just so painful. So one of the ways that I do it, let me just quickly show you, and I will just pull my peel off. So I'm just taking my peel off here. Now when you've got long ones like this, it's worth just lifting a little bit in one corner, then lifting another bit in another corner, and bring in some scrap. So tweezers, your best friend. I'm going to just pop it down. Now I haven't, just going to gently nudge it into place. Now if you're not happy with that, what you can do is you can just get your scalpel and just ease it up, and it will come away, and you'll be able to then replace it. So once it's free a little bit, this is why I don't press it down completely, the amount of peel-offs that I have gone through, because I've pushed them down too hard. So there's my peel-off, and I can now replace it. And as long as you don't push it down really, really hard, it doesn't generally take your card away. So there we are. That's how I do mine. Just purely because I don't do straight. I would never have made a hairdresser. Hopefully that's given you some really good handy hints and tips on how you can take your 3D decoupage and make it just more realistic is the word. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Take care.